Radicals. Radical or surd is a number involves roots. For examples, 1 plus radical 3, 2 radical 3 minus 3 radical 2, 1 plus cube root of 2, cube root of 3 plus a half radical 7. Simplification of radicals. For example, simplify the following as far as possible. Number 1, radical 8. Number 2, radical 6 plus radical 24. Number 3, radical 75 minus radical 12. Number 4, radical 5 times radical 20. Number 5, radical 20 divided by radical 5. Solution. Number 1, radical 80. 80 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2. So radical 80 is equal to radical 2 times 2 times 2 is equal to radical 2 times radical 2 times radical 2. Radical 2 is equal to 2 raised to a half is equal to radical 2 is equal to 2 raised to a half times 2 raised to a half times radical 2. 2 raised to a half times 2 raised to a half is equal to 2 raised to a half plus a half is equal to 2 raised to 1 is equal to 2. So is equal to 2 times radical 2, which is equal to 2 radical 2. Therefore, radical 8 is equal to 2 radical 2. Number 2, radical 6 plus radical 24. Consider radical 24. 24 is equal to 4 times 6. Radical 24 is equal to radical 4 times 6, which is equal to radical 4 times radical 6. Consider radical 4. 4 is equal to 2 times 2, which is equal to 2 square. So radical 4 is equal to radical 2 square, which is equal to 2 square raised to a half, which is equal to 2 raised to 2 times a half, which is equal to 2 raised to 1, which is equal to 2. Radical 24 is equal to 2 times radical 6, which is equal to 2 radical 6. Radical 6 plus 2 radical 6. Radical 6 is equal to 1 radical 6. 1 radical 6 plus 2 radical 6 is equal to 1 plus 2 in the brackets radical 6, which is equal to 3 radical 6. Therefore, radical 6 plus radical 24 is equal to 3 radical 6. Number 3, radical 75 minus radical 12. Consider radical 75. 75 is equal to 25 times 3. So radical 75 is equal to radical 25 times 3, which is equal to radical 25 times radical 3. Consider radical 25. 25 is equal to 5 times 5, which is equal to 5 square. So radical 25 is equal to radical 5 square, which is equal to 5 square raised to a half, which is equal to 5 raised to 2 times a half, which is equal to 5 raised to 1, which is equal to 5. So radical 25 is equal to 5. Consider radical 12. 12 is equal to 4 times 3. So radical 12 is equal to radical 4 times 3, which is equal to radical 4 times radical 3. Consider radical 4. 4 is equal to 2 times 2, which is equal to 2 square. Radical 4 is equal to radical 2 square, which is equal to 2 square raised to half, which is equal to 2 raised to 2 times a half, which is equal to 2 raised to 1, which is equal to 2. So radical 4 is equal to 2. So radical 12 is equal to 2 times radical 3, which is equal to 2 radical 3. So radical 75 is equal to 5 times radical 3, which is equal to 5 radical 3. So radical 75 minus radical 12 is equal to 5 radical 3 minus 2 radical 3 is equal to 5 minus 2 in the brackets radical 3, which is equal to 3 radical 3. Therefore, radical 75 minus radical 12 is equal to 3 radical 3. Number 4, radical 5 times radical 20. Consider radical 20. 20 is equal to 4 times 5. Radical 20 is equal to radical 4 times 5, which is equal to radical 4 times radical 5. Consider radical 4. 4 is equal to 2 times 2, which is equal to 2 square. So radical 4 is equal to radical 2 square, which is equal to 2 square raised to a half, which is equal to 2 raised to 2 times a half, which is equal to 2 raised to 1, which is equal to 2. Radical 4 is equal to 2. Radical 20 is equal to 2 times radical 5, which is equal to 2 radical 5. So radical 5 times radical 20 is equal to radical 5 times 2 radical 5, which is equal to 2 brackets radical 5 times radical 5. Radical 5 times radical 5 is equal to 5 raised to a half times 5 raised to a half, which is equal to 5 raised to a half plus a half, which is equal to 5 raised to 1, which is equal to 5, is equal to 2 in the brackets 5, which is equal to 2 times 5, which is equal to 10. Therefore, radical 5 times radical 20 is equal to 10. Number 5, radical 20 divided by radical 5. Consider radical 20. 20 is equal to 4 times 5. Radical 20 is equal to radical 4 times 5, which is equal to radical 4 times radical 5. Consider radical 4. 4 is equal to 2 times 2, which is equal to 2 square. Radical 4 is equal to radical 2 square, which is equal to 2 square raised to a half, which is equal to 2 raised to 2 times a half, which is equal to 2 raised to 1, which is equal to 2. Radical 4 is equal to 2. So radical 20 is equal to 2 times radical 5, which is equal to 2 radical 5. So radical 20 divided by radical 5 is equal to 2 radical 5 divided by radical 5 is equal to 2 brackets radical 5 divided by radical 5. Radical 5 divided by radical 5 is equal to 5 raised to a half divided by 5 raised to a half, which is equal to 5 raised to a half minus a half, which is equal to 5 raised to 0, which is equal to 1. So is equal to 2 brackets 1, which is equal to 2 times 1, which is equal to 2. Therefore, radical 20 divided by radical 5 is equal to 2. Exercise. Simplify the following as far as possible. Number 1. Radical 5 plus radical 20. Number 2. 7 radical 3 minus 2 radical 27. Number 3. Radical 2 times radical 18. Number 4. Radical 12 divided by radical 3. Number 5. Radical 32